G'day everyone and welcome to the Video Confidence Connect, my hourly live stream to chat with you about video, personal branding, video marketing and personal branding. I probably should have finished my own thought there, shouldn't I? Welcome everyone today welcome to the stream where you connect with me, Zoe Wood, the Video Confidence Coach, smashing your marketing mayhem with killer video strategies. And welcome everyone to today's stream. Today is the 23rd of the 5th, 2025. It is almost nearing, we're almost at the middle of, we're past the middle of Q2, but it definitely feels like we're already in Q3, at least in the work that we're doing here at the Video Confidence Coach. I'm not sure about yourself, but feeling it at the moment. Make sure that you watch this or listen to this live stream on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and many other platforms. You can definitely find us around. You always just see my shiny, smiley, happy face saying hi. Make sure throughout this live stream and the hashtag replay to comment any of your personal branding or video marketing questions, thoughts, or ideas for podcast episodes that you would like to have answers to throughout this live stream and obviously future live streams as well. You can find out more information like show notes for this live stream. Yes, I do a breakdown of this live stream in a show notes fashion, so you can find the bits that you want to focus on before everyone else, by the way. And also I have those show notes for our podcast and our other products that we have at the Video Confidence Coach. You can find all of that at vcc.training. So before we officially begin, I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land in which I conduct my business. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I stand with them and the traditional custodians of this land in working towards a more equal future. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to face discrimination and disadvantage due to our country's colonial past. I stand with them in their fight against injustice. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. And what I like to do with the start of every live stream, just to warm everyone up, is to let people know what I've accomplished over this past week. So I can look back on future live streams and see what we've been able to achieve during that time. My hair is a little bit interesting today. We're just going to work with it today. And thank you everyone who has been reaching out and asking questions. I will be answering some of those today. So throughout this live stream, we're going to touch on three topics that are a couple of questions that people send to me via email and through my other social media channels. If I have missed any of your messages or any of your DMs or anything through my social media channels, please do let me know via my email. My email is probably the best way to get in contact with me, mainly just because social medias do their best not to actually notify when people need things. I love it when they don't do that, despite the fact that I pay them. So the topics that we're going to be touching on today is how to identify your target market without the guesswork, because that's something that I get a lot of people asking me about. Small steps to start a conversation with your audience without feeling like a pest. So I get a lot of people who are not necessarily starting out, but reinvigorating their personal brand, and they're feeling like, oh, I don't want to annoy anyone. You're not, but we'll get through that in a bit more in today's live stream. And the last topic I'll touch on today is your video content actually connecting, or are you just spiraling over numbers? So this is a little bit of focusing on vanity metrics and what that means for you and your content. So over this past week, we have done a lot. So I still don't have my Q2 focus, despite the fact that we are almost in the last month of it. I digress. That's a me thing, not a you thing. So over this past week, we've been gearing up for two things. We have a lot of Indigenous clients with us that work with Video Confidence Coach. Hello, everyone. So next week is Reconciliation Week, which is a week-long, best way, it's not exactly a festival, it's a week-long with multiple Indigenous events, welcome to countries, and various other events. Speaking of the one that I will be attending in person. Next Wednesday, which I'll give you more details on the browser screen next. And I don't have in my head what Reconciliation Week is entirely all about. I don't have the Wikipedia right in front of me, but I am so proud of all my clients who are taking the opportunity to connect again with country and with mob during this upcoming Reconciliation Week, and taking that opportunity to do what they can and what they should do for country. Over this past week, leading up to Reconciliation Week. It's been a busy, busy week for us at the Video Confidence Coach, mainly been in producer role as of late. So essentially what that means is I've been doing organizing multiple shoots, and there's a reason why I only do 2 to 3 of these projects a year, because they are stressful. And not to mention, with Reconciliation Week just around the corner, it is extra stressful. Woo! So if I have missed any of your communications, please do let me know. I promise I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just this week is a lot, but that is all right. We are also, just to add on to another level of stress for me personally, is we're launching a bunch of new products at the start of June 2025. So you will see a lot more from us on our website and in our social medias and in our marketing and all our email lists. So if you are not part of that, please do sign up at vcc.training. So where you can see me as of next week, and I'll jump onto that screen to show you now. One of my clients is Game Time Coffee, which is an indigenous NAM coffee roaster and coffee product seller down in NAM in Melbourne, and they are launching a sports fund. So let me jump over to that, and let me jump over to the page. So they are launching a sports fund for, now I'm going to get the words right, a fund built to remove barriers holding back young Indigenous athletes by covering their costs for sport, fees, uniform, and travel. So you can definitely sign up to this event. Of course, you can get tickets here on this Human Elix. So it's about $50 a ticket, and that is to help support the room hire and food and the guests that will be coming along for the panel discussions. So this will be held during Reconciliation Week, as I've already mentioned, and that will be at Marvel Stadium. So make sure that you, if you are interested in supporting and being there for the launch of this great fund, make sure you check that out. Make sure to search Humanitix, which is the ticket holder, and then Game Time Coffee launch, which will be 9:30 to 11 next Wednesday in NAM, or in Melbourne in the Parker Room, which is in Marvel Stadium. And I was informed by my lovely clients that the MCG and Marvel Stadium are 2 different things. And I totally knew that. And don't laugh at me because I didn't know that. Oops. Still good. Now, recommendation just for anyone who will go through menopause, don't do it. I do not recommend it. Hot flashes are fun, especially when you're about to stream. So thank you to Game Time Coffee for having me on as your video producer for this time, and look forward to seeing and meeting everyone in person during the event. Speaking of events, we have the Geelong Business Excellence Awards, which we are currently working through the nominations for. So thank you everyone who has nominated us for that award. Definitely done the Young Entrepreneur. Really easy, really super easy. Done. The other business awards are taking a lot longer to do because there's a lot more information they need to provide. Yay. So that will take some time. So bear with me. So I will definitely do that. We've got until like mid-June, so it should be fine. But give me a little bit to get it done. Thank you everyone who nominated us. And the Geelong Small Business Festival, we have locked in our events for those, so we can't give away too much just yet because nothing is public. That will be for the Vic Podcasters. So if you don't know, I run a project called Vic Podcasters, or Victorian Podcasters, where we have Facebook, LinkedIn, and email list groups for allowing Victorian podcasters to thrive, where we give opportunities for grants and membership and a community of like-minded podcasters who are both new as well as seasoned professionals. So make sure you check that out if you are interested in either getting into podcasting, restarting a podcast, or are already a podcasting pro and just want some community. I know I definitely feel that. Also, as I mentioned, we will be launching a bunch of new products at the start of June 2025. So keep an eye out for that by joining our email list at vcc.training. Some of these products are going to include some audits that people have been really asking for. And I want to thank everyone for your patience. As someone who is a small business owner and I've just kind of been winging everything and doing it by the seat of my pants, well, holding by the seat of my pants, I should say. And it's not that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to business. It's just a case of I've been so fixated on molding my services and my products to my clients that I kind of lose all process and lose all foundations, let's just say, when it comes to the work that I do. So I have been trying to systematize my process so that I am able to not just make more money, because obviously I need to pay the rent and feed myself and my family. There's also just the fact that I need to be able to systemize these things to make it easier for you to be able to decide whether or not you want to work with me and if I can actually solve your problems. So to do that, I need to systemize and process things. So thank you everyone for your patience as we've been doing that for the past couple of years, but mainly over these past couple of months to really get that going. So we are moving on to the Unboring Your Brand podcast. So this is a podcast that I usually record as part of these live streams if I don't already have someone booked in to have a chat with. So with these podcast episodes, we have, I answer personal branding and video marketing questions, of course, and you can put yours in the comments below. Last week we had episode 60, which was stand for something, not just fonts. We talked about having an opinion when it comes to your personal brand and making sure that that stands clearly, because you're not going to be for everyone, and making sure that you can showcase to people that you are who you stand for, therefore they're going to be more attracted to you. And also the fact that you can definitely push away people who are definitely not the right fit for you. For example, I am proudly queer and proudly Indigenous first when it comes to my business. I am myself not Indigenous. I just welcome the Indigenous community, and most of my clients are, so hello. So if you are not that right fit for me, that is okay. I don't need to see you. You don't need to see me. And this coming week, released on Sunday, what is this Sunday? This Sunday is the 25th of May 2025. We have episode 61, which is DIY Event Recording 101. Now, as you can imagine, I have not for this upcoming event. I'm getting it all completely recorded professionally. But I do have a lot of people, especially when I'm at conferences or events, when they, at the last second, realize, oh crap, Zoe, I need someone to record the event. I put so much effort into the presentation and the slides and all this stuff. I haven't really thought about actually recording the event for posterity, or recording the event to use in a podcast, to use in a live stream, to use in, to pull apart, to be able to use in lead magnets or other things that will actually be useful to you. Don't worry, I got you in this podcast and also video, where I'll be breaking down these thoughts and ideas and what things you need to think about when doing this. And if necessary, if you are stressed at all, make sure you reach out to me, so with the Video Confidence Coach, and I can help you achieve that. Speaking of helping you achieve that, we have Vic Podcasters. We have a weekly podcast that comes out every Sunday, same time, just to make it easier on me. And last week we had Pitch Us Your Podcast Topic. So for members of the of Vic Podcasters, we had an opportunity to pitch us your ideas for guests, for topics, for grants, for anything that you want us to touch on when it comes to the and when it comes to Vic Podcasters. We wanted us to make sure you pitch it to us so we can answer your questions in podcasting format. So if you have any of those or are a member of Vic Podcasters, make sure you check out that episode. It's only 5 minutes long, so you can get all the details there. And also the show notes, again, are always in the description. This coming week, however, on the 25th, we have episode 36, Making Moolah with Your Mic. It is the first of a 3-part series about monetizing your podcast. This is a topic that we get requests for almost every day, and we are covering it in the podcast episode. So, of course, with those podcast episodes, we will be providing a downloadable for everyone to make things a lot easier and simple for those who are beginning to monetize their podcasts. So look forward to seeing what you think and what you say about those. Whew. Okay, we are doing well. I've gone through my list. Beautiful. So we're going to give me a second to deal with this hot flush, because of course it is the great time for it. And I find it very funny that I'm experiencing a hot flush while it's 18 degrees outside, because it is cold, it is fresh, it is definitely winter down here. Yay. And my condolences and to everyone who is currently up in New South Wales who are dealing with a whole bunch of flooding and a fair few reported deaths at the moment. I wish you all the best during this time and hope you're able to stay safe and warm with your families during this time. All right, look forward to seeing you after break, where we'll do some other things. And the last thing I want to touch on, as you can probably guess from everything that we've discussed so far in the podcast today, is visibility. Showing up regularly on the right platforms to increase your reach. This means a mix of social media, blog posts, videos, events, where your ideal clients are looking for answers. Now, of course, I did mention a crap ton of digital options there, but there are in-person ways of doing that too. Making that you actually appear at events, markets, wherever you want your ideal client to be. Because yes, as I've mentioned at the start of this podcast episode, your personal brand may be of you, but you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for your customer. You're doing it for your ideal target market. You're doing it for the type of people that you want to help at the end of the day. And yes, this very much impacts how you show up. Oh yes, I almost forgot to show you my updated, the website. Of course, we are constantly making updates at the Video Confidence Coach, but I wanted to quickly show you some of the updates that I've made regarding some of our past clients. So thank you everyone who has been a past client. We of course aren't showcasing everyone, NDAs do exist, and sometimes we just want to show certain things that relate to certain products. So if that is not you, do not worry. If you are a past client of ours and are saying, Zoe, you did a really good job, put us in the the case studies, please do let us know. That is okay if not. So we've got Health Leader Co, 1111 Hour, we've got Moxon Ways In from the Geelong Boxing Club. We've got Business Management Geelong, the Coaching Directory, Carla Inc Consulting, and LB Learning. So we've got all the details in there. Essentially what we do is we like to break down, while also promoting our past clients and the work that we did with them. We also prefer to be able to break down these ideas on actually how we tackled a project, so someone can see what we've done for them and be able to see that in their own marketing and see that in what they can achieve for themselves. So that is just one example, but you can always check this out yourself at vcc.training. We have updated most things. I'm still working on getting these babies to do what they need to do. I don't know what I've done to break you, but I've done something. We're slowly working on it. I promise I'll definitely figure it out. Maybe not this week and maybe not during reconciliation week, but definitely after that. So we'll definitely get to it. Give me a second and we'll get ready to go on to our first podcast, which, if I get ready, is how to identify your target market. Your personal brand is who you are and who you bring yourself out to be. You always have the opportunity to change or update or pivot your personal brand depending on what stage of life that you are. But your personal brand is very much who you are and who you bring yourself out to when it comes to the projects that you're working on. Now, these projects may include your own business that you're working on, any events that you are co-hosting or emceeing, or anything that you are aligning your personal brand with. Now, of course, there is a little bit of risk when it comes into that, because sometimes, and what I've done in the past is when I have worked with events or businesses or projects where I wasn't fully in control, or maybe I was a bit naive at the time, that has taken down some of my credibility in the work that I have done, and I kind of regret it. But that is in the past, and that's where we're here now. Have you ever tried talking to everyone, but yet no one listens? This is what it's like when marketing your personal brand or your business brand and trying to just claw everyone in who is in your vicinity. Let's help you with that with target audiences. I stumbled a little bit on that, but we'll keep going. So intro plays. So welcome everyone to the Unboring Your Brand podcast with me, your host, Zoe Wood, the Video Confidence Coach. Yes, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. And when I say favorite, I mean, it's just something that I talk about a lot with clients. And when it comes to being able to break down these really complex marketing ideas, we all funnel it through their target market. So today we're going to actually today in the podcast, we're going to figure out what this stuff, target market and all that guesswork and stuff, is actually for. Because you are not, your personal brand, your business brand, whatever projects you work on is not for everyone. You, yourself, the type of person you are not for everyone. And no one is going to buy if you are too generic to stand out for your own good. Talk to any politician. So first off, we're going to start off with why target markets matter. But first off, I'm going to tell you actually what they are first. So a target market essentially is a group of people that you are targeting your marketing towards. Now, this isn't necessarily your customers. This isn't necessarily the decision makers who are like between you and your customer. This isn't necessarily just the decision makers, people who are deciding to buy from you. Now, of course, I may have dropped a couple of titles there that you may be like, what the hell is going on, Zoe? Don't worry. Essentially, your target market is a group of people with in common characteristics that you're able to focus on when it comes to your marketing endeavors, so you can make clear decisions both for your business and for your marketing. And yes, they are two different things, and I'll get into that in today's podcast. So, why your audience matters. So, when I'm talking to potential clients, either people who are new to their personal brand or business brands, or people who are fairly into it now and they're just wondering why they're not growing, especially when it comes to their marketing and the activities that they're doing to market themselves. When you are talking to everyone, and I use very big air quotes around that, for yourself, when you're trying to talk to everyone, it is exhausting and confusing. And it's not just exhausting for you, it's exhausting for your potential clients. Because when you don't know who you're talking to, you are appealing to everyone with a broad brush, trying to be as generic as possible. And when you are attempting to stand out with a personal brand, because of course that's what the personal brand is for you to stand out. And even with business brands that are built either on personal brands or in conjunction with, you can feel free to check out my other episodes in the show notes that relate to the difference between your personal and your business brand, in case you're getting confused. When it comes to target markets, this covers both of those areas. Ultimately, when you know who you're talking to, it is easier to market to them. It is easier to talk to them because you know who you're talking to. You can create content. You can tailor offers. You can tailor services that actually land and get them to sign up with you, get them to pay money, which is why we're doing this. And for you, it saves effort, it saves time, it saves money, and it saves ultimately your sanity. Because you are speaking not to everyone, but to a select group of people. And this is where your target market, and a tool that I like to use and quite commonly use, and you'll probably hear this if you are at all in the periphery of the marketing sphere, is a customer avatar. Now, think of your customer avatar as your imaginary friend, but make it more business. So essentially, a customer avatar is a detailed, quote on the detailed profile. Let me do that one again, Zoe. Thank you. A customer avatar is a detailed, quote, detailed profile of your ideal customer. Not just age, gender, the boring demographics. You can probably list those right now of the people who have bought from you in the past or are about to buy from you. You can probably name those. But you're actually listing down their hopes, their struggles, and maybe their weird coffee orders. Essentially everything that is outside of them and inside of them. That sounds a bit sexy. That helps them decide whether or not they want to work with you. You can and should have more than one customer avatar because most businesses usually have about 3 different types, but for now we're going to focus on just one customer avatar because it makes it easier. And I've heard a lot of back and throwing, and especially when it comes to marketing gurus or other people in the marketing space who say, hello, do what I do, who grow their personal brands. There is a little bit of contention when it comes to customer avatars because at the end of the day, you are doing a bit of guesswork. You are guessing what these people ultimately want. Yes, you can use statistics, you can use evidence, you can do surveys of your potential or past customers, you can run experiments, but brushing that all aside, now of course that's all important, but I want you to focus on what we're here to do today. Your customer avatar helps you remove all the cloudiness from your decisions, and you're able to take experiments with your business, try things out, get feedback quite quickly once you have decided who you're talking to, and then from there be able to reiterate to the point where you are consistently making income. Because it's better to not have it perfect, have a little bit of guesswork, and get the feedback, get the money, get the response from the people, as opposed to trying to wait until it's absolutely perfect before taking action. Or in some cases of people that I've worked with, they have waited, or say they needed it to be perfect before they made any decision. Now, of course, this is very hard because everything is based on who you're talking to when it comes to your business. And when it comes to your brand, you're doing it not for you. It may be your personal brand, but you are doing it for your customer. So in turn, you kind of need to know who these people are. Even if you don't have a fully solid foundation of who they are, you need to be able to answer these basic questions about them to start taking action within your business. And if guesswork leads to action, then take the guesswork. Yes, you are going to experiment, and yes, it's not going to be it's not going to be perfect right off the bat. But you are taking action, not just as a solo business owner, not just as a leader of a business with potential staff, and not just as a head of a company. Having these customer avatars is more beneficial than not. Almost like having a personal brand is more beneficial than not. You get me? Don't worry, I have other podcast episodes about personal branding and why it's important, but I digress. Let's go back a bit. So when it comes to your avatars, I have a free download and crash course. Now, of course, that's a lead magnet. And the reason I bring this up is mainly because I have so many people come to me with very unclear direction. Now, of course, you're reaching out to an expert, which is always a great thing, especially when you need that help and support. But if you can't answer basic questions, and not just for me, mind you, I would love if you worked with me, but if you don't work with me, being able to just go through this, it's a simple crash course with a download available, and obviously the public facing course there that you can go through. It's honestly I think a 20-minute video. It is really simple to do. It just asks a lot of questions of you. I do have a lot of clients and people who go through it, and they say every time I ask a question, they pause and they think about it a lot. But ultimately, as I've discussed, this customer avatar, yes, is a little bit of guesswork, but it enables you to figure out more about who you're actually talking to, why you're actually talking to them, and then in turn, make decisions on how you're going to talk to them. So, for example, my customer avatar, at the moment I have one, because I've been honing in on not necessarily getting her perfect, but making decisions, getting feedback, getting statistics and results to be able to get her right, so then I can start moving on to other customer avatars. I did mention previously that most businesses have about 3 customer avatars, mainly because people are in different stages of buying. And for a lot of people, it's a lot easier to market to these people when you have 3 different buckets that they can go into. Now, of course, we don't like labels as someone who is part of the LGBT mafia. Labels are what we use to be able to collect people into groups. Sometimes for negatives, sometimes for positives. And when you're talking to a first timer, when you're talking to a fast decision maker, or someone who needs to stalk you for about 6 months before they trust you, these are distinct groups of people. Now, of course, you can do that work later on, but I want to ultimately invite you to even just check out the crash course in the description below, just to get a sense of what type of questions I ask when it comes to your customer avatar. And as I said, you don't need to have the direct answer straight away. You can always test things out, go with your gut, go with your feeling, because you are working with these people. You are serving these people. And hopefully you are having conversations with these people every day or almost every day. And the people that I work with are people who know their stuff, who are innovators, and people who have a very clear message and a clear foundation of what they want to do. So in turn, they need to know who they serve. And when it comes to the work that you do and how you even start making a customer avatar. You, talk to me, of course, and you're doing a very good job, legend. Well done. You obviously check out the description below. Again, you don't have to download the avatar sheet. I do recommend it just because it makes the tutorial a lot easier. But of course, feel free to just check out the crash course, which is publicly available. And that works you through how to create your own avatar. Now, you can start off with one. It can be a little bit more wide-ranging as to what you're trying to do. And once you've been able to test it out in your marketing, in your business decisions, in the way that you run your business, then from there you can start maybe breaking it into, say, 3 types of avatars, which, like I said, are the first timer, so people who are new to your business, the fast decision maker, people who already get a vibe of what you do, trust you pretty well enough, and then happy to make the decision straight away. And then there are the stalkers or the lurkers, the people who are going to watch you for a longer time before they make a decision to buy from you. Hello. Hi. Don't worry. I love you either way. And this process is not exactly quick and easy, but it is something that is genuinely fun. And I have had no qualms from people who I have worked with who I've taken through this process. Now, of course, this is a surface level one that I'm available to the public because, of course, when it comes to your particular niche, when it comes to your particular business, when it comes to the people that you work with, of course, if you work with me, I'll be able to answer a lot more direct questions, which in turn will mean so of course you can always talk to us about a Glow and Grow branding session where you can check out all those details in below or in the show notes, as you can probably imagine. But make sure you check that out. Ultimately, I want you to make decisions. I want you to make decisions and direction decisions about your marketing. And to do that, your first step, you need to know who you're talking to. And when it comes to knowing who you're talking to, and that usually showcases to people and to yourself as well on ultimately why you're talking to people. A good example is, for example, my customer avatar. My customer avatar, I like to give him a little persona, is Melissa Thompson. Hello if you're out there, and if you have that name, continue working with me anyway. Hi, you can reach out. Essentially, Melissa Thompson is the type of woman who has grown a usually tech business. So she's worked in a male-dominated industry for a while, and she has very clear agendas and skills, and she's very precise about what she does. And I like to work with these people who see the need for what I do, understand that growing their personal brand is going to help them grow beyond the capacity of what they could do, like face-to-face, and what they could do physically with their hands, and grow their message, grow their influence, and hopefully be able to achieve more with their legacy, more than just helping solve a couple of 100 clients. They could do this with their personal brand. So you can also find more details in the show notes with that crash course where I give you an example of a couple of customer avatars that we can go straight off the bat. Recapping for the end of this episode, and yes, we're almost done. Don't worry, don't leave me, don't worry. There are plenty of other podcasts that you can check out, all in the description. You don't market to everyone because it ultimately doesn't work and it's painful. Making your customer avatar and then breaking it down into the actions that they take when it comes to your business can help you figure out your marketing and also take that stress off yourself when not feeling clear on what to do and you're overwhelmed by the potential decisions that you have to make. Make sure you check out the free download in the show notes and in the description to check out and to check out that download and free crash course on how to create your own custom avatar. Ultimately, I want you to do well when it comes to marketing, and hopefully you can take my recommendations, tools, and advice. And if you need it, I'm always happy to have a 15-minute chat, complimentary. You just have to jump through a couple of quizzes to make sure you've actually checked out some of my stuff. Look forward to hearing you and seeing you on the next podcast. See ya. Not everything is going to be perfect out the gate. When you first started your business, were you crack hot straight away? Did you not make mistakes? Did the first thing that you ever created, that you ever serviced, that you ever did for your business, was it absolutely perfect? No. Can anyone argue that what you do now is perfect? No. The reason I ask that is because when it comes to marketing your business in general, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to make pitfalls. But hopefully the work that and the message that I put out there is that if you're willing to make mistakes that ultimately in the end of the day don't harm yourself and do not harm anyone else, then it's okay to make mistakes. Talking to your audience can feel a little bit like yelling into the void, if you don't have an established audience. But if you want real clients, referrals, and business, that doesn't make you feel like you're in a sad group chat. Let's have some proper conversations. All right. Welcome everyone to the Unboring Your Brand podcast with your host, Zoe Wood, the video confidence coach. Thank you to Tristan for reaching out via email for asking this question. They are starting their journey into the business and personal branding space, and they do not have a pre-established audience. And they're looking at these larger people who have been in the game for decades and feeling honestly intimidating, but also feeling a little bit worried that they won't be able to achieve the same thing. So I wanted to allay your fears, Tristan, and also give you a chance to be able to break down these barriers in a nice, easy, digestible format, almost like a podcast. Please come and join me. So when it comes to these types of conversations with your audience, now these can be done via content, so like something like a podcast or a live stream, all the way to social media, posts, or even just email, like email marketing, or the conversations, essentially however you're communicating to your audience, be it via whatever method you're using, you ultimately need to do these things. You ultimately need to do consistency. You need to know who you're talking to. You need to think about the easy conversation starters, not just for them, but for yourself. And shifting your mindset to not thinking that you're bothering people when you're trying to communicate to them. So, Tristan, and those who are listening and watching, of course, do not worry if you feel a bit icky about reaching out to people, because that is definitely, as someone who is on the slightly younger end, I'm 30, but I've always been the youngest in the room, let's just say that. And it can feel a bit icky, especially when trying to change the mind shift in yourself when it comes to your personal brand, about feeling like you're bothering people. It's my last point, but I'm going to jump to it now. And this mindset shift is something that comes with both experience and a bit of time. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can go straight out the bat, usually because there's a little bit of breaking that comfort zone for yourself and feeling comfortable within that new zone that you jumped into. And the mindset shift that you're thinking, or the mindset shift that you need to achieve, and don't do this by brute force, do all the other things that I'm going to mention in this podcast before you do it by brute force, is when you are marketing to people and when you are having conversations with your clients, potential clients, and influencers of those potential clients, you are not bothering people. Now, of course, that may seem a bit strange when it comes to marketing and we see ads that are infiltrating our daily life. Can seem a bit like, ooh, I'm being bothered by these messages, Zoe. So when I'm doing the work that I'm doing, aren't I bothering people? You aren't bothering them if you're inviting them into the conversation, especially when they already want to be a part of that conversation because they have a problem that you have a solution for. You are running this business brand, you're running this personal brand, or usually in my case with the clients that I work with, you're kind of doing a combination of the two, where you're running a business utilizing your personal brand. The people that are interested in the message and interested in what you have to say are following you for a reason. And if you keep showing up like a human and not like a billboard, they are going to connect with you. And when it comes to this, and I personally struggled with this for a very long time in my business, I felt like I was bothering them because I was interrupting their flow. I was interrupting their day. I'm going to tell you now, that is not what's happening when communicating. That's not what's happening. That is not what is happening when you are putting out a post on social media, or you're sending someone an email, or when you're popping up in an advertisement. Yes, a lot of people have learned to tune that out, but if you are actually providing a solution to their problem, people want to hear about it. People definitely want a solution, and even if it is something that they don't see straight away, because most people need a minimum of about 14 to 16 touch points. Touch points are when people see your brand, see your face, see your message, and are able to connect that in their mind. Then that is what a touch point is. And as you can imagine, that may seem like a lot of touch points. When you get over that, first of all, mindset shift of understanding that you are not bothering people with the solution that you have to their problem, then those touch points get slightly easier, because you can start actually actioning what we're going to talk about in the rest of this podcast episode. So Tristan, you still with me? Well done. So let's touch on to consistency. And we have plenty of podcast episodes about consistency, but ultimately consistency wins. You don't need to post every day. You don't need to be on social media, showing up in email inboxes every day. It can be a bit much for anyone, especially if you do not have a pre-established team backing you up or staff to help you with that. But showing up regularly builds trust. Like, if you are going to consistently be there for people, they're going to recognize and trust you that you are going to be there to solve their problem. Even if it is something as simple as weekly check-in moments on social media or on email to build up momentum. And again, email is, I've personally found, a less of a hurdle to jump over, because people who are on your email list are people who signed up to hear from you, signed up to your lead magnet or your marketing, or something in that message that you have already said to them resonated with them to follow you, to join your email list. So I find that hurdle of bothering people, you jump over that a little bit easier when it comes to email. And when it comes to your consistency, having something ultimately that you can do consistently is much better than having these grand plans to do all this stuff and then never do any of it because you don't have the time, the energy, or the resources to be able to achieve that. See, let's talk realistic here. And even if you are someone who has a team behind you who can support you, consistency is still incredibly prevalent, especially in your messaging, and who maybe, for example, people who reach out to you may be reaching out to an assistant or a staffer or someone else in your business, making sure that everyone still speaks the same language and still has that forward focus of I am here to solve your problem. Then it doesn't entirely matter who exactly they speak to. You are building that trust and consistency. And going back to the weekly check-ins, thinking that your customers or your potential customers, asking them what's on their mind this week, that you can help them, because of course you will be known for something. I'm known as personal branding and video marketing. Why? Because that's all I talk about. And when it comes to your message and how you reach out to people, they will inevitably very quickly pick up on what you're putting down and the solutions that you provide. It's less about going viral and more about being reliable. I'll do that again because I made that rhyme in my scripting. It's less about going viral and more about being reliable. Like a good coffee shop. You are going to recommend a good local spot that you love because they are consistent. They do good coffee. You walk in, there's maybe there might be a line, but you're happy to wait because you know it has good stuff. And the staff are nice and helpful. You're going to do it. And that is the same for your business. Ultimately, I am aware that as I have been going through my podcasts, I say ultimately a lot. My apologies. I'm going to try and pull that back a little bit. So thank you all for your patience. When you are getting over that mindset shift, To get over that little bothering people mindset shift, Tristan, you can utilize something that I recommend, and especially when going back to basics, or a lot of people recommend, or when I come back to my marketing coaching, is I always recommend people to go back to, I always ask people to go back to, who is your community? Who are you doing this for? Who is your customer avatar, your target market, if you want to get really technical and markety in those words. So breaking it down, your community is your past clients. They have already liked you enough to pay you money and either give you their trust and materials or like access to sensitive information. Keep chatting with them. Make sure you're not leaving them behind for new ventures, because I think something like, if people have bought from you in the past, they're more likely to buy from you again. And there's less effort that you have to spend and time that you have to spend getting them back on board because they've already paid you. And you did a good job, right? You better do a good job. And in those moments that you didn't do a good job, you can show them that you're going to do a good job now. Stick with me here. In your community, you also have potential clients. So these are people who are lurking. And yes, we see you. Don't worry. But these are people who have you on the periphery of their mind. They know they've got a problem, but it's not to the point where they need to actively seek a solution. But they've got you in their back pocket. They got you there. But they're still going to check up on you every now and again. And also in your community, you have referrals. So these are people who may never buy from you, but are always people who are happy to send people your way. These are other business owners who, say, for example, might be in my particular niche, but for example, they know who I work with, so they send people my way. And I also do the same in turn. I have parallel businesses who are not necessarily doing what I'm doing, but when they are like me, they're either overwhelmed or, for example, they need someone who has come to them being like, hey, I need this video or I need this thing done for my marketing. And it's clear that they have no idea what they're talking about. Instead of this potential referral being just overwhelmed, being like, this is going to be so much work, they can send them over to me. I can sort them out, send them back over to them. Boom, done. And the referrals, especially when you do a good job, look like heroes because they've recommended someone who's able to solve their pain point. That is why referral marketing works, people. And I can do podcast episodes on that too if you want me to break it down for you. And the final part of your community, and arguably the most important, are fans who may not be the right fit for your business. So they may not need you or may not need you for a very long time, depending on the type of business that you run, but they love what you're about. They love your personal brand and they want to shout it out from the rooftops. And thank you everyone who is one of my fans, who has either, met me in person or has seen what I've done in the past and liked my vibe. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. And hopefully I'm able to keep your trust by serving well whoever you send my way. So thank you again. I tip my hat off to you. I'm not wearing a hat because this hair is not going to work under a hat. Mind you, I'm finally fixing my pirate hat, so you'll probably maybe see those in the future. I don't know if I can fit headphones under a pirate hat though. So when it comes to yourself and taking these actions, now that we've gone through the mindset shift, we've gone through consistency, and we've gone through community, maybe thinking of some easy conversation starters that can actually work for your community. Now, of course, these examples are going to be very broad because, of course, I don't know your community. I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know why you're talking to them. And I don't know what you do to solve their problem. But in regards to low stakes activities that you can do to get the conversation going, even if you don't have a pre-established audience, getting out there and actually talking to people is going to help you build an audience. Start in a local community if you are a locally run business. And even if you're not a locally run business, going out there and serving people and helping people is going to get you seen, is going to get you going. The more that you put yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable, the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you're going to be seen doing well. And you can do this by these really easy starter things. For example, you can do polls and questions on stories or on LinkedIn or ultimately on any social media platform. Polls and questions are really low effort, high reward. And it can be enable a way to gauge where your community is at. Again, all aspects of your community. So, for example, something like what's your go-to tool this week, or something that asks questions to get feedback from all your community to get an idea of what works for them. Another thing that you can do on social media is this or that posts. You can use, like for example, something that is comparable, like for example, voice notes versus text replies, and people love an opinion. Maybe don't go something too decisive unless it is part of your brand, and feel free to check out my previous episode on standing for something, not just fonts. Go and check that out. If you're interested in not necessarily being decisive, but making sure that you stand and bring in people who stand with you on that opinion. So you can use that to, have people put in their opinion, especially if it's just one click. It's going to allow people to feel a lot better about making that decision, but also you can get the data and the insights to understand of like, okay, who is engaging with my posts? Who is seeing me more? Who is seeing my message? And you can take action on that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You can also create mini behind the scenes, either videos or images, or even aspects on your, say, for example, email list. You can run behind the scenes, either collections of videos or maybe even a podcast. I worked with someone who did a mini podcast that was only available on their email list that went through the behind the scenes of a product launch that they were doing, because all of their customers were also people who did product launches. So that was really interesting to do. And about 6 months later, they launched that as like a mini lead magnet that people could access. That say outside of their email list could access to gain access to their email list. And it worked really, really well for them. So that's an idea that you can use to something that is easy, something that you can already do an impact into your current workflow. You can also use this opportunity to do client shout outs. Making sure that you say their name, tag them if it's on social media, and share what win that they were able to achieve. Now, of course, do this with their permission. Make sure you get their permission first. But people love, and also everyone loves free promo. So make sure that you can use that. And again, this is easy enough to get started. You're already doing the work, shout it out. And you can also use this opportunity as something that is easy enough for you to do, is you can do this by commenting in replies and in DMs that are, so don't sales pitch, want to stress, do not sales pitch. But talk to them like you're talking to a mate. And if they have a question that is in your wheelhouse or your zone of genius, and you're able to answer them relatively consistently in those comments and DMs, or if it's something that's a little bit more complex, answer it in the DMs, but make sure you put a comment saying, hey, I sent you a DM to either something that you've already done in some of the marketing that you've already answered to, or if you've got the time and energy to be able to give them the answer. Yes, it may not result immediately in, say, someone signing up and being like, I trust you, like you, I'm going to pay you money. It may happen. It's not going to be guaranteed, but it's easy enough for you to do and easy enough for you to do consistently. So you can get started on expanding your comfort zone. So, too long, didn't read, Zoe. First of all, start with consistency. Even if it's once a week is a win. Remember, your community is bigger than just your potential customers and your buyers. Like I said, your community is your past clients, your potential clients, your referrals, and the fans who aren't going to buy from you, but are going to shout you from the rooftops. Always use simple prompts to start conversations and build relationships. Even if you don't have a pre-established audience, you can grow this. It's going to take time, but it's going to take effort from you. And ultimately, keep it human. No awkward salesy robots allowed while you're trying to build this community, but also just trying to not feel like a pest. Hopefully, Tristan, I've answered your question in this very long and lengthy podcast episode, but hopefully I've been able to answer this for you. And even if you are not Tristan, please do reach out via my email. This is Zoe, Z-O-E, @vcc.training, where you can talk to me everything about your personal branding and video marketing woes. Everything else you can check out on the website, vcc.training. I probably should promote the thing that I'm talking about. You can always check out the show notes for all the other details about other podcast episodes that are related to the subject that will definitely help you out. And in the meantime, feel free to just check out my Pick My Brain sessions, where you can chat with me for an hour about whatever subject you like, and we'll give you clear actions on what to do next. Love ya. Bye. You have a really clear goal, you have like 12 episodes that you need to fill, and you have a really clear audience member or type of customer or type of listener in mind, so that when that 12 is done, if you're doing really well and you're enjoying it and it's awesome, you can continue going. G'day everyone who is joining us live. We are a little bit over time, so it is currently 11. So usually I only allow an hour for these live streams, so hello. But I've still got a third one to go, and this is from Marissa. So I really wanted to answer this question for you, so I'm going to go a little bit over time to make sure that I answer this question for you. And I know it's a bit of a lengthy, wordy thing, because that's what I do, but stick with me here. We'll get going. That is excessive, and even present me thinks that is damn excessive. So for most people, I'm going to stress this now, 1 to 2 networking events a month is very reasonable, especially when you're working in a small business and it's just you and you've got a lot of things to do. I was overdoing it. Are your videos actually connecting, or are you just spiraling over numbers? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Unboring Your Brand podcast with your host Zoe Wood, the video confidence coach. Thank you so much to Marissa for this question. We had a very healthy email exchange over a couple of months. This is one of your questions. Ultimately, we had honestly 1,000. So thank you so much, Marissa, for reaching out. And if you are like Marissa and wanting some updates or be able to have your questions answered in this type of format, do let me know. You can always email me or message me on my social medias. I promise I do look at them. Not very often, but I do sometimes. But ultimately, we all know the feeling as marketing our personal brands or our business brands. Make sure to check out my podcast about why those things are different and why they're the same. Ultimately, we have all uploaded a video and checked 14 seconds later after we've gone back to it and wondering if we should all burn it down and just start a worm farm. And if you do worm farms, hello, please talk to me. I would love to know more about how you do your business. I would love to know more. I'd love to talk to you today about how to tell if your video content is actually landing with your audience or your intended audience, and if the numbers are just making you feel a bit queasy for no particular reason. Okay, so we are touching on, when it comes to uploading specifically on social media, mainly just because that's where a lot of people focus, because that's where a lot of people spend their time. But this can apply to your emails, to your website, to YouTube. YouTube is a social media, but it's a little bit more like a repository, as well as is a bit back and forth. So either way, when we're talking about this, the numbers don't tell the whole story. Views, which is how many people have viewed, either how many people or how many times your video has viewed, is helpful, but they're ultimately just the start of the story. And low views for videos does not always mean that you have made low impact. I'll repeat that again. Low view counts on your videos does not mean you have made low impact. Some of my biggest clients and some of my best referrals, so these are people who are outside of my influence, like people who do not give a crap about my business, but they refer people to me, are people that come from quiet content. So I'll explain that in a sec, but ultimately, trust me. And if you don't feel like trusting me, then continue to listen and carry on until you trust me. So when it comes to your videos and why they may not be working, is some actual anxiety-inducing signs. So I lost my brain there a little bit. Apologies for that, everyone who was watching and listening. I think I lost my brain. What did I mean by this? Sorry. Okay, so I went through the actual... okay. Apologies. I went through a little bit of a spiral of my own and then went on a tangent, and then I lost the tangent, and now I'm here back again. Hello. So, cutting that out. Welcome everyone back in. So, follow your own script, Zoe. So, how do you know if your video is actually working? If your video is actually connecting with who you intend to talk to? And so here are some actual and non-anxiety inducing signs. So when it comes to social media or places that people can respond and comment, in the replies, so these can be email replies as well as comments, people actually respond with actual sentences. It's not just emojis. It's not just a great job or a, hey, with an emoji. Someone actually says, this made me think of such and such. Or they ask a question of you. Questions are gold. Questions you can also answer within the comments, but also you can use that to make future content that answers that question, because people want answers, which is what I'm doing now for Marissa. Ha ha ha. See, everything's full circle. When the comments have actual sentences, you have sparked connection and you get a gold star. People referencing your content in DMs or discovery calls. This is gold. I have so many videos that I thought have absolutely flopped, podcast episodes that I thought no one ever listened to, and the numbers were in the single digits. And then I get on a discovery call, or I have a conversation in a DM, or like Marissa, hi, having an email exchange over a couple of months. And they reference things that I have said in previous emails or in videos. That is evidence that people have watched and ultimately remembered what you have said. And if they are getting to the stage of even contacting you, keeping in mind there are plenty of people who just lurk in the background and who don't necessarily interact with your content. They love seeing you. They love seeing you every day. They watch your videos when they come out, or they They love what you do on the podcast, but they don't necessarily interact. There are so many people. LinkedIn is a very good example of this. There are so many people who do not interact on LinkedIn. But I get majority of my referrals that way. Why? Because I'm showing up and doing the work that people are too afraid to do. And you can do that too. You just have to step outside your comfort zone and do it too. You can always talk to me about it. Don't worry, I've got a Pick My Brain session. Check it out on my website. Another example of how you know it's actually working is saves and shares. So these can be found in your analytics on whichever social media platform is your preferred platform, or you can check them all out. They're going to be in different areas: insights, analytics, wherever the back end of your page is. If someone saves your content or shares it to come back later, this is a big yes for the algorithm, because algorithms love that stuff. And also it's a big win for your audience, because it shows that people are wanting to come back to your stuff. And also when they share it, they usually are sharing it outside the platform. So these can be in Slack channels, in Discords, in Reddits, in other platforms like that. Another example of things looking out well for you are growth in lurkers. Hello again. So these are quiet followers who still count. They are, so if you're getting a slow trickle of followers every time you post, that's a sign that your content is attracting the right eyes. These people may not be taking action because we are bombarded by a lot of drives to take action every day. Not everything is going to resonate with everyone. That's why you have different messages, and you are not overwhelming them, Marissa. You are not bogging them down with details. You are answering their questions, and you can do so in shorter, sharper chunks, especially when it comes to social media. But you ultimately have the same message. You're just converting it in different ways for different people. And with the lurkers, there are going to be people that you grow the number, and that is a good sign. And last thing I want to give as an example today is referrals or shout outs that you did not ask for. I have so many people who I thank you and hello again to everyone who either tags me or like drops my name in a group thread. It means that your content is working, because people who you may not have met, or people that you met in the distant past, or even people that you have never met, are sharing you and shouting out your business when it comes to people seeking a solution to their problem. And I've had many people reach out to me and say, hey, this person recommended you, or this person mentioned you. I want to know more. And I'm able to help them do that. So what to do if you're spiraling over numbers? And spiraling over the numbers is okay. I understand. I have been there multiple times, more than I can count. And especially when you are not an actor or someone who has been a celebrity or famous to even a E-grade celebrity to a degree. There is this bias from people outside of that fame umbrella that the amount of people and the amount of numbers that you have directly influences the amount of influence that you have. And that is not the case. And for you in your journey, no matter where you're starting when it comes to your business or your personal brand, you are starting from somewhere. Now, you may not be starting this right today, or you may have been doing this for a while, but making sure that when you post a video and you don't immediately get the numbers that you're hoping for, making sure that you zoom out to the big picture. It's not just one video. It's not just one message. Because if we all had one message, the world would be rather quiet. Indeed. And your community, they want more of it. They want a simple question of what would you love to learn from me? Something as simple to prompt their questions that they have for you. And for example, there are plenty of lurkers of people who don't want to take action just yet. That is also okay. But you are going to be there when they turn from lurkers to action takers. And say it with me, keep showing up. Because your consistency, in turn, dictates how people are going to treat you. And say, for example, if you, and I'm working with a couple of clients now who are currently facing this, where they have done something for 6 months, they've done it for a year, and it's not giving them the return on the investment that they want. And we look back and see what things can be changed. And it may be a case that that method didn't work out. It may be a case that that platform doesn't really work for you. Fine. Take your foot off the accelerator. Post slightly less or repost content that worked really well in the past so you can continue to grow the community that you have there. But put your efforts into something new or put your efforts into another platform. Do not let it burn just because it hasn't given you the results straight away. But take your focus off it and be able to use the work that you've already created, the effort that you've already put into it, and be able to repeat it and replicate it for yourself. TLDR, numbers are useful, but they're not the whole truth. Look for your replies, look for your referrals, and look for your real conversations. And ultimately, when it comes to your brand, trust your gut, trust your community, and don't let the stats boss you around. Because of course, those stats are heavily linked with the people that run those platforms. And what do those platforms want? They want eyeballs so they can sell advertising. So you are trying to do your best to get your message out there. So in turn, you need to be consistent. You need to show up. And ultimately, Marissa, if the numbers aren't showing what you want to see, giving yourself a chance to reflect, look at the bigger picture. And if not, feel free to have a chat with me via my Pick My Brain session on my website. Look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. You want to have either business cards, magnets, even pieces of... Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's live stream on the 23rd of the 5th, 2025. And I think my hot flush has left, which is a good sign. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for this live stream. Thank you for all the comments, questions, and thoughts and ideas for future live stream and podcast topics, and hashtag replay squad for anyone who's catching us on the replay. I am aware that a lot of you do, so hi, and thank you everyone who has been chilling in the background. If you have missed any part of the stream or want to watch or listen to the whole live stream, you can check it out on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or better way to put it is you can check everything out on the show notes, vcc.training/video-confidence-connect, where you can check out all of our details and obviously everything supporting the show notes and the live stream that I mentioned in all of the podcasts that we've recorded today. Whew. Zoe Wood, the video confidence coach, smashing your marketing mayhem with killer video strategies. Next week, we have on the 30th of May, 2025, we have live stream 30, burn your business shoulds. So if your to-do list of shoulds makes you feel like you want to crawl under the doona and stay there forever, and especially in this kind of cold weather, I completely get you. This one is for you. So next week we're going to be throwing out the guilt, side-eyeing the hustle culture, and talking about how it actually means to promote yourself without feeling like you're walking sales pitch to the Bahamas. I don't know where that came from. Because ultimately, here's the truth. God damn it! I said I wouldn't say ultimately. Here I am. Showing up confidently online isn't bragging. It's branding. And when done right, it doesn't feel gross. I promise. So next week at 10 a.m. on the 30th, you will learn how to spot those unhelpful rules, like rules that messing up your own self-worth that usually have not been gifted to you, or you have either made up yourself, depending on trauma. And you will find ways to pick up easy ways to talk about what you do without feeling cringy or apologizing for existing. Hello, fellow millennials and Gen Z. It's mindset meets marketing chat. And if you don't, marketing chat, it's mindset meets marketing chat that you know you didn't need, that you didn't know you needed. Thank you, everyone, and make sure to leave your shoulds at the door. When was the last time you hyped yourself up on purpose? Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Video Confidence Connect. I look forward to seeing you on next week, and see you then.